Today is January 27th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're going to continue our journey through, we're going to begin our journey in the next chapter of the book. There's a Solution. We'll be reading page 17. Out of the 12 and 12, we will continue our journey through step 3 by reading page 39. And of course, we will read the 24 hours a day and daily reflection. Hope y'all are doing well this morning, my friends. Life is good over here. I've got my Baby Yoda cup here, filled with black coffee. I'm ready to go. So I hope y'all are doing well this Tuesday, and let's get to the good stuff. All right, so if you recall from yesterday's reading, we finished up Bill's story, which is just a beautiful story. And as we said a few days ago, I do believe that this book was written in the order that was written for a reason. So we got to hear a little bit about the doctor's opinion, about the allergy and the obsession of the mind. Then we got to hear from one of the founders of AA, who talked about his malady and then talked about how Ebby Thatcher made a huge impact on him, as well as the doctor, Silkworth, of course, and then talked about service work at the end and how everything we could have ever looked for we can find in sobriety. I love the last lines yesterday. Most of us feel that we need to look no further for utopia. We have it right here, right now. Each day, my friend's simple talk in our kitchen multiplies itself in a widening circle of peace on earth and goodwill to men. Now we're going to talk about how there's a solution. So here we go. Chapter 2, we're getting a little bit more specific. Page 17. We of Alcoholics Anonymous know thousands of men and women who were once just as hopeless as Bill. Nearly all have recovered. They have solved the drink problem. We are average Americans. All sections of this country and many of its occupations are represented, as well as many political, economic, social, and religious backgrounds. We are people who normally would not mix. But there exists among us a fellowship, a friendliness, and an understanding which is indescribably wonderful. We are like the passengers of a great liner the moment after rescue from a shipwreck, when camaraderie, joyousness, and democracy pervade the vessel from steerage to captain's table. Unlike the feeling of the ship's passengers, however, our joy in the escape from disaster does not subside as we go our individual ways. The feeling of having shared in a common peril is one element in the powerful cement which binds us. But that in itself would never have held us together as we are now joined. The tremendous fact for every one of us is that we have discovered a common solution. We have a way out on which we can absolutely agree, and upon which we can join in brotherly and harmonious action. This is the great news this book carries to those who suffer from alcoholism. Out of the 12 and 12, we're on step 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Page 39. So how exactly can the willing person continue to turn his will and his life over to the higher power? He made a beginning, we have seen, when he commenced to rely upon AA for the solution of his alcohol problem. By now, though, the chances are that he has become convinced that he has more problems than alcohol, and that some of these refuse to be solved by all the sheer personal determination and courage that he can muster. They simply will not budge. They make him desperately unhappy and threaten his newfound sobriety. Our friend is still victimized by remorse and guilt when he thinks of yesterday. Bitterness still overpowers him when he broods upon those he still envies or hates. His financial insecurity worries him sick, and panic takes over when he thinks of all the bridges to safety that alcohol has burned behind him. And how shall he ever straighten out that awful jam that cost him the affection of his family and separated him from them? His lone courage and unaided will cannot do it. Surely, he must now depend on somebody or something else. At first, that somebody is likely to be his closest AA friend. He relies upon the assurance that his many troubles, now made more acute because he cannot use alcohol to kill the pain, can be solved too. Of course, the sponsor points out that our friend's life is still unmanageable even though he's sober. That after all, only a bare start on AA's program has been made. More sobriety brought about by the admission of alcoholism and by attendance at a few meetings is very good indeed. But it is bound to be a far cry from permanent sobriety and a contented, useful life. That is just where the remaining steps of the AA program come in. Nothing short of continuous action upon these as a way of life can bring the much desired result. "24 hours a day, January 27th. AA thought for the day. Alcoholics carry an awful load around with them. What a load lying puts on your shoulders. Drinking makes liars out of all of us alcoholics. In order to get the liquor we want, we have to lie all the time. We have to lie about where we've been and what we've been doing. When you are lying, you're only half alive because of the fear of being found out. When you come into AA and get honest with yourself and with other people, that terrible load of lying falls off your shoulders. Have I gotten rid of that load of lying? Meditation for the day. I believe in the spiritual world, as in the material world. There is no empty space. As fears and worries and resentments depart my life, the things of the Spirit come in to take their place. Calm comes after a storm. As soon as I am rid of fears and hate and selfishness, God's love and peace and calm can come in. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may rid myself of all fears and resentments, so that peace and serenity may take their place. I pray that I may sweep my life clean of evil, so that good may come in. Daily Reflection, January 27th. Freedom from guilt. Where other people were concerned, we had to drop the word blame from our speech and thought. 12 Steps and 12 Traditions, page 47. When I become willing to accept my own powerlessness, I begin to realize that blaming myself for all the trouble in my life can be an ego trip back into hopelessness. Asking for help and listening deeply to the messages inherent in the steps and traditions of the program make it possible to change those attitudes which delay my recovery. Before joining AA, I had such a desire for approval from people in powerful positions that I was willing to sacrifice myself and others to gain a foothold in the world. I invariably came to grief. In the program, I find true friends who love, understand, and care to help me learn the truth about myself. With the help of the 12 steps, I am able to build a better life, free of guilt and the need for self-justification. All right, my friends, that concludes today's reading. And my goodness, I know I repeat myself all the time, but like this time, after I did every single reading from every single book, I'm like, okay, I can definitely relate to this. I want to share about this one a little bit. And it happened with all four. So I know you don't want to hear too much of my rambling or any at all for that matter. So I'll make this as quick as possible. First of all, the big book in the 12 and 12, especially the big book, talking about how we share that common peril. And this is just the first chapter of There's a Solution. The fellowship alone is wonderful. But the book even says that the fellowship is great, But for a lot of alcoholics, that is not enough. It's the fact that we all have a common solution. And we don't exactly know what that solution is yet, but I'm going to give you a little spoiler here. It's the program. It's the steps, the 12 suggestions. So it's cool that they talk about the fellowship and the program right then and there on the first page of There's a Solution. And then also the the 24 hours a day. This blows my mind. So in the big book that I read in the mornings, I have this little prayer notebook that I keep in this Bible case, and I'll be honest with you, a lot of times when I pray for others and pray for certain situations, I kind of do it off the cuff, and I don't look in that prayer book. It's just this notebook that I keep in there, and I've had it for years. I've been carrying it around for years, and I forgot that on the inside cover, it talks about exactly what the 24 hours a day was talking about. I pray that I may rid myself of all fears and resentments so that peace and serenity may take their place. So a lot of times when I was praying, I'd say to my higher power, please take away my fear, lust and resentments and all these things. But I would never pray for like what I would want to gain instead. Because if I just have these things taken away, it just leaves a vacuum, right? So if you don't mind, I'll share what I wrote years ago in the inside cover of my little notebook here. So I would pray to my higher power to please remove my selfishness and replace it with selflessness. For lusting, to lust after righteousness, truth, and the right person, my wife. Instead of fear, I pray for courage and peace and stability. Instead of laziness, I pray to work hard despite my feelings and motivation. Instead of expectations and control, I pray for your will, not mine, to be done. To accept whatever comes with dignity. Instead of self-pity and self-resentment, I pray to be kind to myself. To acknowledge that I'll never be perfect, but I can grow. To pivot quickly and to serve others. It's not about me. Help me to practice gratitude. Instead of resentments, I pray for forgiveness and grace. Instead of ego and pride, I pray for humility. And then it looks like I wrote on the other side of this, the 5 things my sponsor taught me. Pray, go to a meeting, help another drunk, read the big book, call your sponsor. That was the early days of my sobriety. He said, remember those 5 things, Rob. So shout out to you, my friend, if you're listening. You know who you are. But anyways, my friends, that's all we have time for today. I've rambled on enough. I just want you to know how much I appreciate you, how grateful I am, and what an honor it is to be on this podcast. If you are sober today, you're a miracle. And those who love you are very proud of you. And if you're not sober, you're a miracle as well, and you are worthy of recovery. And there might be a reason you're hearing this. And again, I hope you know that you are loved and valued. As always, I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, any other sect. I am just a fellow drunk in this lifeboat of recovery, just honored to be here for this set of 24 hours. And if we are given another 24 hours, I sincerely look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow.